Hello students, welcome back. We have already taken two videos to prepare or solve the worksheet related problem here, this particular problem to be specific. So here this is the last video where we will complete all the 10 column of worksheet. Till now we are done with the 6th column. We have completed the 6th column. We have also calculated the total here. So in this particular video, I'll just complete the whole worksheet by filling up the last 4 columns. Okay, so be with me. Now you know that you have the adjusted balance, and we already know that company can prepare financial statement or should prepare financial statement from the value of which the company gets from the adjusted balance. So here in the worksheet we also got the adjusted balance. So if we can also prepare or calculate the value of our income statement and balance sheet accounts. Okay, that's very simple. Just remember one thing, that whenever you will be preparing the income statement balance sheet part, you don't have to worry about first these 4 columns. Okay, you just have to worry about the adjusted trial balance, because we prepared the income statement and balance sheet from the adjusted trial balance. So here, what is the formula? What is the rules to fill up these two forms? Very simple. Whenever any account will be there, we have to see that what is the balance. If it is in the debit balance, suppose this cash debit balance, it will always remain on the debit side. But here in this last part, we just have to check whether this should go to this debit column or that debit column, or in other words, whether this balance will go to the income statement part or balance sheet part. Suppose an account has a credit balance like this. Here we will not have to think about any calculation. We have to think about that there is 2 credit here, one in the income statement, another is the balance sheet. So we have to just decide, or we have to think which credit side it will go, here or there. There is only 2 options for each of the account. For the debit, these 2 options are there. For the debit account, there's 2 options, whether it should be written here or here. For the credit, there's 2 options. Very simple. And what is the another formula is that we already know that income statement deals about revenues and expenses. So revenues and expenses will come to these 2 columns, and anything other than revenue and expense account will go to the balance sheet. Very simple. Because normally asset and liability are in the balance sheet, owner's equity are in the balance sheet. So anything related to asset, liability and owner's equity, they will go to the balance sheet. Okay, so keep that in mind. Very simple. So let's start. Cash. Balance of debit 4,500. Cash should go where? Is it an income or revenue and expense? No. So cash will be on the debit side, but this debit side, because that's an asset. So I'll just write this value on the debit side of balance sheet. Next, move on to the account receivable. It's a revenue and expense account? No. So we cannot write it on the income statement part. Rather, we should write it on the debit side of the balance sheet part. Very easy, right? Next, supplies. It's also an asset. Asset will go to the balance sheet part. So we can also write in the debit side of balance sheet. So this also goes to the balance sheet. Equipment. Equipment is another asset. So equipment will also go to the balance sheet debit side. Okay. Very easy, right? Anything related to asset, liability, owner's equity, go to the balance sheet. Anything related to revenues and expenses, go to the income statement. Till now, we didn't get any revenue expenses. That's why this 2 column is blank till now. Okay. No worry, it will be filled up. Accumulated depreciation. Can you remember which type of account it is? Certainly, it is not a revenue and expense account. It is a contra asset account. So asset account goes to the balance sheet. Contra asset account also will go to the balance sheet. So the balance, accumulated depreciation, will go to the credit side of the balance sheet. Since it is on the credit side, in the adjusted balance, it will remain on the credit side. Accounts payable. Same, it is a liability and it has a credit balance. So we'll write it in the balance sheet side of the worksheet. So 2,500, we'll write it in the balance sheet side. Unearned revenue, another liability. So it should also go to the balance sheet part, credit side, 260. Owner's capital, anything related to owner's capital, owner's equity will also go to the balance sheet. Okay, so owner's capital of 12,900 credit balance, so it will also be in the credit side, and we'll write it in the balance sheet part. Drawings related to owner's equity, so it will also go to the balance sheet part, but drawings has a normally debit balance, so we'll write it in the debit side. Don't make mistake in writing in the debit or credit side. Okay, service revenue. Now first time we got something called revenue, right? So revenue shouldn't go to the balance sheet, rather revenue should go to the income statement. So revenue normally has credit balance, so revenue will go to the credit side of the income statement. 6590 will be here. Then after service revenue we got salaries and wages expense. Salaries and wages expense debit balance, it is an expense, so that's why we'll also write it in the income statement part. Revenues and expenses. Miscellaneous expense, another expense, same side, debit side of income statement part. Very easy, right? Think about supplies expense. Again, it's an expense, has a debit balance, so it will go to the debit side of the income statement part, not the balance sheet part. Depreciation expense, it is another expense. It will also go to the debit side of the income statement part because that's expense account. So there we got one revenue account and 4 expense account altogether. So we'll write them on the income statement part of the worksheet. Okay. Now the last one we have, the account we have last one is salaries and wages payable. It's a liability account. So liability account cannot go to the income statement, rather it will go to the balance sheet. So these two column we can use. Which side it is on? Debit or credit? Credit side. So we write this on the balance sheet part and on the credit side too. So 700 of salaries and wages payable will be created. So that's simple work, right? You just have to think about whether this account is asset, liability or owner's equity. If it is any of the three, then you'll write it on the balance sheet part. And if it is any of the revenue expenses, you'll write that account in the income statement part, or the value of the account in the income statement part. Okay, so almost we are done, but here there is a one thing. Suppose you know that the credit side of income statement we have written the revenue, and the debit side we have written the expenses. So if I want to calculate what is my total revenue, can I do that? Very easy, because there is only one revenue here. So my total revenue is also 6590. If I want to calculate what is my total expense, I can also do that. These are the expenses total. So here, this is your total revenue, this is your total expenses. Are they equal? No. What does it mean? Good or bad? Your revenue is higher than your expenses. Is it good or bad thing to do? Exactly, that's a good thing. Your revenue is higher than your expenses. That means that you have earned profit. So how much profit you have earned? The difference between these two, right? The difference between revenue and expenses are known as net income or net profit. So can we calculate that? Of course, 6590 is the total revenue. If I deduct total expense 4170, I get a net profit of, or net income of 2420. So I can write it here, net income. 2420 is the net income. Okay. Another thing, I can also calculate the portion of the balance sheet here. All the debit credit side item, total of 17,860. All the debit side item, total of 20,280. These two are also not equal. So have we done any mistake? We'll see. No worry. Just check here. This side, the credit side is 6590 and our debit side was 4170, but we have decided to add 2420 to make the two side equal. So 2420 4170 is the total is 6590. So the debit side of income statement, credit side of income statement, they matches. But how? What can we do here with the 2420? We have just came up with this out of nowhere. Can you do that? Just keeping it here out of nowhere, we can get 2420 and make the two side equal. Actually, what we are doing it is not illogical. Actually, we are doing the illogical thing. How? Let me show you. This 2420 net profit you have generated, who can claim the profit? The lenders or the shareholders? Exactly, the shareholders. So this should be also a part of owner's equity. Owner's equity is on the debit side or credit side? Credit side, right? So you can also write the same 2420 on the credit side of your balance sheet, because that 2420 net profit will increase the owner's equity. So it will increase the credit side of your balance sheet. So, and in another way, you can think that for equal amount of debit, we must do something about equal amount of credit. Okay. So this we have done equal amount of debit here 2420. So you have done equal amount of credit on the balance sheet part. And what it will do, just check. What is the total of the debit side? 20,280. Now, if I add the 2420 with the credit side previous balance of previous summation of credit side, let's see what we get. Exactly, our two side is now equal. So we can assume that the accounting we have done so far, or the problem we have solved so far in a way, and it is accurate. There may be some problem, right? There is a good chance that we have not made any mistake in solving this worksheet. So after the worksheet, you can find out what is your net profit or net income. And after the profit, you can also find out what is the value of your total assets. The value of your total assets are on the debit side. So the value of your total asset is 20,280. And the value of your total liabilities on a security is also 20,280. So it's also verifies our accounting equation that asset must equal to liabilities and owner's equity. So with this, we have solved a particular worksheet related problem. So I hope you have understand how to do the worksheet. I hope you can do it by yourself. Okay, so best of luck. Thank you for your patience. In the next video, I'll come up with another topic from this chapter. Hope to see you soon.